All right, so I'm the architect for IoT for US Federal, not for Cisco. He makes more than I do. So, all right, so I was in our Cisco Federal Intelligence Community practice, mostly doing voice and video and collaboration for about 15 years. And then I went to our CTO's office and did voice and video collaboration there for about 3-4 years. Now I'm back in US Federal to do IoT, and I'm really excited about the technology that we have right now. So I was asked to come and do a short demo of some new technology that the federal government could consume today. So here's my very short story. So this is a LoRaWAN sensor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you a little bit today about LoRaWAN, and I'm going to show you 2 cool tricks you can do with LoRaWAN. So LoRaWAN is the first protocol, in my opinion, that was written specifically for IoT. You can't do email over LoRaWAN. You can't do voice and video over LoRaWAN. It's only good for sensors. So it was invented about 5-6 years ago at a graduate school in France, in Western France. And these guys actually built a protocol from the ground up just to do sensors. So I'm long-term engineer, so I'm gonna geek out here for a second. Excuse me if this is kind of boring, but in Internet protocol, in TCP/IP, it's really chatty. Like there are all these, hey, are you there? Yeah, I'm here. It's just constantly talking to each other. So these 4 French grad students, they went from the ground up, they wrote an entirely new protocol that has nothing to do with TCP/IP, which has been around for forever. But once you get rid of all of that chat, some interesting things happen. The first thing is you don't need a lot of electricity. So this is a sensor from a South African company named Digital Matter. 2 AAA batteries will last 5 to 7 years. That's cool. So the second thing about this sensor is in our Herndon office, we get about 10 to 15 miles distance from this sensor to that antenna when we have it in our office. 10 to 15 miles, so it's pretty cool. It's because the sensor is sending its location or the temperature, or I've detected some hazardous chemical or something like that, 10 to 15 miles to an antenna. That antenna could be mounted on a drone, it could be put on the top of the building, but I actually brought it with me yesterday afternoon. It's a little gray box in the back of the room, plugged it into the wall there, just so I could track my car coming here this morning. So actually, there's this engineer in Switzerland that I know, kind of, and he put a video on YouTube, and he put one of those antennas in his house. He gets a 125-mile range from this sensor to his house. This $20 sensor lasts 5 years, and they put one of these on a weather balloon. They got 465-mile distance wirelessly from a sensor down to the ground, weather balloon to the sensor. So let's go 5 years from now. I just saw a demo from another company of a similar sensor, a LoRa sensor, printed on a piece of paper. So the circuitry is printed on a paper and the battery is embedded in the paper. They're going to mail this out as an advertisement for the company. 5 years from now, I'm going to guess that anything that you buy of value will come with a LoRa sensor already built into it. There are currently 700 companies in the LoRa Alliance, all making sensors. None of these are more expensive than $80 today. 5 years from now, they're going to cost pennies. So people estimate that there will be over 1 billion LoRa connections in 4 years in the marketplace. It's going to revolutionize the way we do logistics, energy companies work, safety tracking, force protection, and my laptop just fell asleep, which is exactly what I was worried about. Anyway, is it back? All right, so I have like a few minutes left. So let me show you what I did. So yesterday afternoon, I come here and I plug in that thing, that box, to the wall, And then this morning at 11:06, we can look at the time, I finally show up here. I swear I was working from home this morning. And you can see I park in the parking garage, but I have one of these sensors in my backpack, and you can see me 10 stories down in the parking garage, and the signal from my $20 sensor makes it all the way up here, and you can see me walking around. Then I go outside the building, and I try and figure out which side of the building you were on. You can see me kind of trying to figure that out for a little while. And then I walk down East Street, realize I missed the door, and come all the way back down East Street. So to recap, LoRaWAN is a new standard protocol. It's been around 4 or 5 years. Cisco has an end-to-end solution in this. There are sensors that cost less than $20 that last 5 years, and they go 10, 15, 100, 400 miles. It's kind of cool. But it's a standard. So the rest of my demo is like not like useful to you guys. I just think it's kind of cool. Okay, so it's a standard, and we have a whole product line around it, and there's a programmable interface. There's an API around this interface. So all of the features, if you're a coder, you could sit down and code to, right? So there's an API around a standard protocol. It's a great thing about standards is you can go and make things work together, things that normally wouldn't work together. So I got this buddy who works on a product from Cisco called Webex Teams. Webex Teams, please work. Yay. So Webex Teams, it does a lot of things. It's part of our collaboration business unit, does voice video, but here it's just doing chat. All I want to do is do the chatbot. So my buddy lives in North Carolina. His name is Dave Sizemore. And I said, you know what? You have an API for Webex Teams. I have an API for LoRaWAN. What if we just pointed them at each other? So he actually wrote me in a couple of hours 400 lines of code between my API and his API. So this is Webex Teams, and now I'm not going to type in front of you guys, so I'm just going to show you what I typed. So we called our integration FedBot. It lives in the cloud in a data center in San Jose. It's 400 lines of code between my server and his server. And because it's really good at natural language, you can actually have a conversation with tens of thousands of sensors all at the same time. I'm not going to go through all the stuff we've done so far, but we've taught our bot over the last couple of weeks to understand about 200 different questions just by talking to it. This sensor is 796. When I ask the bot, where is 796, it goes out to Google Maps, takes a picture around the WWT office, and responds back with where this sensor is right now. I won't tell you who my customer is, but one of my customers has a problem with losing dangerous things. They send 1,000 of these things a day from their office, and they lose one a day. It sounds worse than it is. They just someone forgets to barcode scan it in. So I showed a demo to the person in charge of security that you could have a conversation with tens of thousands of dangerous things all at the same time. So I can ask, how many am I missing? A little embarrassing, but it's okay. But also the other question I taught it to understand is, please dispatch the nearest guard. So it mashes up, where is this sensor now, and where are all my guards? And then the guard gets a text message on their iPhone that says, quick, go find this thing. We lost it. So anyway, I was asked to do something conversational, and I haven't given you a chance for any questions, but let me just give you a quick recap in my remaining minute. So IoT means a lot of things to a lot of people, but to me what it means are there's going to be lots of little sensors like this that cost almost nothing, that transmit little bits of data, but they're shipping today. If you wanted to track everything in your enterprise, you could tomorrow. So Cisco and WWT have an end-to-end solution right now that's standards-based that can embed in other things, but that's just the beginning. The long-term potential is we can take this data and point it northbound into other enterprise applications and make this useful to you. But that's not a future thing. That's something that's shipping now that we can go and pilot inside of your enterprise. Very few people are doing this. Very few people know about it, but it's something that's out there now. So anyway, I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you guys today, to show you my little demo, and I'll be downstairs showing you my little antenna. I got a gray box in the back full of these kind of things. But thank you very much for having me here today.